Hello everyone. I welcome you here again. So today we have Varsha Maheshwari with us. She has been recently awarded her PhD degree from A.N. Sinha Institute of Social Studies. So welcome Varsha.
Hello Puneet, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. So हम लोग आपका academic background and अभी तक का journey in your PhD journey कैसा रहा? What did you learn? ये सुनना चाहेंगे आपसे.
Okay. Since when I started my journey as a student, I would say like since my school, I would really say that I never intended to do PhD as such. Yeah, but I have manifested the prefix of doctor since a long time. So I don't know how PhD came in between, the whole process. But yes, since my schooling, economics was the subject. As a student, I can say I was not so interested in it. But somehow in my, 11th and 12th standard, I got a teacher, she was like, she was actually very good. And, there the interest of the subject, it happened. And then I got through my bachelor's in economics and my master's in economics. And since I was so interested in the subject, I'm also a gold medalist in that. And then PhD happened. So as a journey, I can say, if one, thinks to enter PhD, it's a long process. And from the very start, that person, a researcher should be pretty focused on what he or she really wants to, research into. So there's one thing I would really say to a person who is, intending to do PhD is from the very start, you really need to be focused. I know while we study or, do something, we digress in various areas. But it's just my suggestion that, whatever you're entering with a subject, you should be quite focused with it. So, and my journey has been quite long. I can say like, 5 to 6 years. It took me, approximately 7 years to get my degree. So yeah, it had been like quite turbulent, but I'm glad that I sailed it, discussing a lot of topics with your supervisor and, agreeing and disagreeing to those issues. And yeah, it had been a good journey, I can say. Yeah.
Okay. आप कुछ share करना चाहेंगे about finding how somebody find a topic of research, because a lot of researchers face difficulty identifying the topic. So what should be the things to keep in mind while deciding it?
Right. As for in my case, I can say that one should be a little passionate about what you're actually going to do, because it's not a 2 years process. And it's not a disciplined process in that way that, in a semester system, it will happen. So when you're passionate towards something, it drives you in that way. It's a complete self-disciplined process. So while I was picking up my topic, there was a lot of discussion at my department level, at my supervisor's level. So it was not, the topic did not came at once. We kept on reading the literature, the broader area, because my area is more over on development economics. And the focused area which I worked was on labor. So when you're picking up a topic, you really need to know your broader area that you're working under, because that will be carried for a longer period of time with you in your academic life.
Right.
So you should be quite focused. So when you're picking any area, we know that we go through a lot of literature in our particular area. So in that process, what I learned was, you need to create various dimensions with that area which it has dealt with. And after creating that dimensions, you really need to find out the gaps in that particular research. And if that really, attracts you, you really think that that needs to be addressed, that issue need to be addressed, you need to take up with that. But a researcher should always keep in mind, the time, because we are constrained with the time. We should not take something which will really take, a longer period of time, because that's a constraint with us. And specifically, okay, one should not be so, about it that this is your last work. No, this is not. It's just the beginning. So one should also, yeah, one should also be very focused, that yes, you can do it, not take up something so magnum ops that, it at the end of the day, you get frustrated and you leave in between. So all these things are like really important. And yeah, I always kept in mind that, something to take up which is feasible also and which is relevant too. So yeah, that's my
Okay.
suggestion.
Okay, thank you so much. Would you share some light on how to identify journals? Some go for ABDC index, some go for Scopus. So what should be the
Yeah,
things to keep in mind?
since I'm from social science background, so once you're doing your literature review, and that person really knows that, and what journals that person really needs to get published. And there was a time when I was doing my PhD. At that period of time, there was the UGC care list too. We had to, publish our
Correct.
papers in
Yes,
UGC care
yes.
list. So yeah, it depends, you really need to shortlist from the very start that, you really need to plan that when you have to write your paper, when you have to publish your paper, because when you simultaneously keep on doing it, it gets very easy at the end.
Okay.
And since you know that what are your tentative chapters, from that you take out your papers altogether. So with regard to journals, you can just check out the Scopus lists. Like there's a lot of Scopus lists, social science. But yeah, one should keep in mind it takes time. So one should plan accordingly. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Thank
Varsha,
you.
for sharing your
Yeah.
experience. Is there anything else you want to share with the viewers?
Just one thing, when you're entering PhD, there's only one thing I would really say, that don't just enter for the degree, because it takes a lot of time. You are actually sacrificing that lot of time. You could have done something else. But when you get into academics and PhD, when you're really passionate about it and you really think that you can contribute towards the gap or the research, then you should certainly enter this, because it's a very tedious thing. It takes time. You need to be very passionate. You should have that commitment towards your work. So yeah, that I would really say.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Varsha. Thank you
Thank
for
you. Thank you
spending
so
time
much.
with us. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.